fries is like
yeah.
you gotta walk down like this 100-foot like aisle where you're blocked in by walls of like
Yep.
fatty treats. It's like chocolate and candy
Yep.
everywhere. You can't even
Yep.
see over the motherfuckers. And you're just like, I just want to pay for my Ethernet cable. I just want to pay for my Ethernet cable. I don't want to spend $56.42 on chocolate and shit.
Yeah.
Which is what you do. Welcome, Nerd Chatter, a weekly podcast where we discuss stories throughout the week from the film, gaming, and tech industries. Today, I got Kenny with me.
What up, sir?
On this week's show, we're going to just go over a number of smaller news stories that we gathered up through the roundup. But before we do that, you could hit the like or subscribe button. It'd be much appreciated. And I know we said we were going to have Garrett on the show this week, but he got caught up with some like family or some plans he had set up that he had forgotten. But luckily for us, there wasn't that much that dropped on that Sunday or even that Saturday when we were recording. It was mostly like interviews and stuff. Did you see some of the Star Wars Celebration stuff that we didn't get to?
Yeah, I saw a couple of interviews with like Hayden Christensen and like Rosario Dawson, a couple other people. Yeah. Yep.
Ewan McGregor, kind of up there with Hayden Christensen. That was on Sunday, I believe, right?
Yeah, and then the guy that plays main character in
Cal's character.
Cal,
yeah, I forget. I definitely
his
forget.
name, but he was there.
Yeah, he was there.
Watched that one.
Did see like a trailer for that game in particular, I think, where I guess it was gameplay, right? They showed off a little bit of some of the spectacular, very Force, what was the Force Awakened kind of vibe going on with some of the stuff that you can do now. I mean, that's kind of like reassuring, right? It's like your character kind of arrives into this game past the point where you have to learn, all that mundane stuff.
Pretty much, I wouldn't say mastered, but he's well into being a Jedi.
Yeah. When it gets down to it, I mean, I was fairly disappointed in regards to their lack of information on games, dude. Like,
yeah,
they've been touting the fact that they have like 7 or 8 games in development or something like that going on.
Yeah, we only really saw Survivor.
Yeah, I mean that's all we saw was Jedi Survivor, and we had seen that before. That game comes out in like weeks or days. You know what I mean? Like we're close. It's like, okay, man, all right. People that have pre-ordered, they got it. They're good. Or that are going to pre-order, they got it. The rest is just, what's next? What happened to Eclipse? What happened to these EA, games that are being made? Well, I guess scrapped at some point. Some of them being shelved, but there's supposed to be a lot going on out there in the world of gaming in regards to Star Wars. So a little bit disappointed. I think they had the Ahsoka panel with Rosario Dawson and Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Natasha Liu Bordizzo, Sabine Wren.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really? Interesting. Oh, yeah, Mary Elizabeth Winstead is playing Hera. And like I mentioned, it's kind of a fan favorite character, and I did see some of the footage and stuff after that. I'm just not going to comment. I was going to leave that to Garrett to kind of discuss those characters, where they're from, their backstories, how they make a mark in the storytelling and stuff like that. Also, we had Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau up there talking on Sunday, kind of gushing over their progress and talking about ILM and kind of thanking the fans. We did get a Bad Batch season 3 confirmation, right?
Yep.
I got that on there. And then also the Star Wars Visions season 2. That's like kind of like Animatrix type one, right?
So there's a bunch of Visions was like a bunch of different things. So it was like anime, but there was also like claymation kind of stuff, like in the first season too. But a lot of it was like anime inspired.
Yeah. So anybody in the old Matrix era would be familiar with the Animatrix DVD that you'd get, at Hot Topic and all these other stores that sold like the random DVDs, but it was a number of different artists making their version of a part of the story, for Matrix. And
I think there was another confirmation for what was it? Tales of the Jedi.
Oh, Tales of the Jedi. That's right.
Yeah.
I think I've actually seen that. But also you had Lars Mikkelsen up there, right? He came out, and I think that was actually on Saturday when we were recording. We just didn't, did manage to see some behind the scenes footage, so an extended trailer that was premiered at the event that did actually show Grand Admiral Thrawn in full makeup. It's him. It's definitely Lars. Doesn't have the big bulbous like eyebrow, line.
Right.
But, is definitely the proper shade of blue and has the red eyes, that type of thing. So
right.
We'll do just fine. I think my just personal beef is the fact that I got kind of gypped out of any bit of video game news. Whatever. Garrett did mention that too. He's like, he's kind of hit on pretty much everything in terms of news. The rest of Saturday and Sunday was kind of just like fanfare and gushing over the fans and shit. So, we're going to move on from the Star Wars, but a bit unfortunate. I was kind of bummed. What did you think overall?
Yeah, I think it was a little lackluster towards the end. Obviously, like we said, there's not much that video game wise that came out, so that's what I was hoping for too, is seeing something else come out.
Yeah, there's tons of stuff. Like I joke about Battlefront 3 because I'm a huge Battlefront 2 fan.
I used to play that a lot.
Nerd. I've done hundreds and hundreds of hours in that game. I think my heavy is like level 500 or something like that. So,
okay. I was into the first Battlefront, and obviously as a kid, like all the OG Battlefronts.
Yeah, I went back and played Battlefront 2, the OG one, and it's just I don't know. I got spoiled. You know what I mean? Yeah. I got too into the immersiveness. That's why I play it. I play it so I can stomp through a hallway as Darth Vader, right? Menacingly walking towards my target. You know what I mean? Right. To do all this crazy shit that I want to do. I'm kind of just like injecting myself into that. But when it comes to like the older ones, it's just, it's a predecessor. It's a clunky predecessor where you're there for a reason and get it done, that type of thing. But
right.
Still classics. I'm just super pissed off that that's what they traded for Battlefield 2042. That's what they outright said that. You know what I mean? They were diverting their resources to Battlefield, and that's what we got. That broken piece of dog shit. Super salty about that game. But like I said, there's things. There's what happened with the KOTOR, remaster.
Yeah, exactly.
Not even that. We couldn't even get any like footage or pictures of that. What the hell?
People would be losing their minds if they got a KOTOR like just images or just even a small trailer.
Little tease.
Yeah.
And I had mentioned that in a previous show because it's PlayStation and need to add some shit to my roster of games. Kind of bummed, but it is what it is. Moving on, we had some big news from Warner Brothers Discovery. I think this week was a pretty busy week for Warner Brothers.
Yeah, big time.
First one on here, they're dropping the HBO name from their name. And it's shifting it to just Max, which is going to be annoying. I could have swore that the Max came from something originally, something that they had acquired.
Didn't HBO take over Cinemax?
Something like that.
Something like that. So
and then also on top of it, they had HBO Go and HBO Now, right.
And that's why it all just became just HBO Max.
Yeah, and it's just mind-boggling, right? So their newly revamped streaming platform is combining HGTV, Food Network, Discovery, and HBO with a number of packages, but the two notable ones are the ad-free versions. $16 a month is going to be your typical one that everybody expects, 1080p. And then if you want to upgrade that to the 4K, ad-free, and a number of other different benefits.
I think they called it what is it, ad-free to the max or something like that.
Ad-free max or ad-free ultimate or something like that. But that one's going to be $20 a month.
Yeah.
And now we're getting a bit crazy. My thing is why are you dropping the HBO? Like, what the fuck?
Right.
The Max is not what HBO is the prestige. That's the name. You know what I mean? That's I revere that name because I know that it's quality for the most part.
Yeah.
And then it's this whole like mindset. And I think they talked about it where they were like, uh, they're just facing an issue with combining these people to begin with. These are different types of viewers. HBO is not going to be the same viewer demographic as like Discovery Channel, where they're and like HGTV, where they have like all these reality shows and garbage trash. I call it trash.
Yeah.
My chick doesn't, it's not that she doesn't like it. I just always call what she's watching trash because it's fucking garbage.
My fiance is always just watching
garbage,
mindless, reality TV on Netflix or Hulu or whatever. But
I can't even. All the names just kind of merge together, so I can't even like just flop out names of of these garbage shows. But Dr. Pole's not that bad. But when it comes to like combining these two demographics, it's going to be rough. So they're actually favoring hooking the people that are turned off by the HBO prestige. But I mean, we're talking about them favoring HGTV, Food Network, and Discovery viewers over HBO. So now when you're going to be looking for high quality HBO content, you're going to be inundated by all this other trash. Mm-hmm. So it's like an intentional downgrade. Very confusing. People are like, what the fuck? What's going on? Why are they doing this? Doesn't make any sense. And then, along with that, a couple other announcements made by them. They are rebooting Harry Potter. The entirety of Harry Potter. And it is going to have J.K. Rowling involved. But it's going to be a 10-year-long streaming series. With a completely new cast, new reimagining of the original story, and it'll be on their new Max streaming platform. This is it's sacrilege. How dare they? I mean, it's not like them taking something and from the original creator and making their own bastardized version of it. I mean, I have a controversial opinion about that original casting, and child casting is tough,
right?
Like, I get it, but Radcliffe was not a fantastic like actor, you know what I mean? Like, he kind of sucked, and not like throwing shade. He's obviously better now. He's like he's gotten into his role, but as that young kid, he sucked. You could tell he was like staring at people off camera. His lines were all like stiff, and like his facial reactions were like delayed when he's saying lines, like just very amateur and kiddish. That's why that first one is perceived as like a kid movie, because they're child actors. Now Ron Weasley and Hermione, a little bit better with Hermione. She got really, really a lot better over time, but Ron Weasley was like fantastic right out the gate. Like, other characters aside from the main character were better actors, and I mean, I revere those films. I love them, and I'll still watch them, obviously. But I could definitely see some benefit coming from, getting some, like, I'm not using it as like the ultimate example, but like Stranger Things level acting, in those roles. It's like, there's a clear difference there, and it could be improved. We'll see. I don't know. Is that going to conflict? Are they ditching the Fantastic Beasts series? Like, are we done with that Dumbledore that we know?
I mean, are we done with the next, like, aren't they making another movie?
I don't know. Like, there is no announcement as to the details on that. And they had already recast Johnny Depp with Mads Mikkelsen. Was it Mads Mikkelsen?
Yeah.
They already did that whole route and that love story with Dumbledore. It's like, okay, so is that Dumbledore going to be the new Dumbledore, like in the movies, the properties, in the series, I should say? Or were we dealing with, our Dumbledore that we grew up with?
Right.
So it's going to be a bit confusing. This is chasing the bag for sure.
100%.
This is 100% chasing the bag, especially with them being like, oh, it's a 7-book or it's a 6-book series or what have you, and it's going to be for 10 years. They said that each season of the show is going to be a year of the school. So I have no idea how their math is working out. Or a book. It's like one season is going to be a book or whatever, but they plan on doing it for 10 years. It's like,
So like, are they doing shit after school or like?
Like, I don't know. Like, are they going to go? Yeah, are they going to go into like the cursed child type? Right. Oh God, that would be horrible. But
I mean, they probably are.
I don't want them to do that.
But again, that's another just one book, which would be.
I mean, it's more so just an adaptation of a stage play.
Right.
I mean, we'll see. There's going to be some backlash as always with the online communities and her involvement.
I mean, I already know like you and I follow someone that like has been getting like hate mail and like DMs and shit.
Oh,
for their take.
Are you talking about that one Harry Potter page?
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck.
I don't know what's going on. But I mean, it's a big page. It has like 500,000 like followers.
Yeah, it has a massive following. I forget what it was called. It was like Harry Potter Universe or something like that.
Yeah, like Wizarding World.
Yeah, and this person had spoken out saying, "I'm not going to watch this," blah 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 blah, and all this shit.
Like just an opinion and stating their. And like he was getting him or her, whoever it was, getting just.
That's what they said.
Berated.
And if you looked at my comment, I was like, I looked through all of the comments, and yes, they were like 150 or 160 at the time. So what I said was based on what I had seen at that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did scroll through those 100 plus. Yes, I did. I don't know, like it's not that hard to like read that many small little blurbs and determine if there's some negative connotation with them. It's like it's not that hard. A lot of people are just like, that's your opinion, but very civil conversation for Twitter. And if you look at those comments and you're like, damn, this person got ripped to shreds. Like, you have not been on Twitter long enough
compared to other things we've seen.
So I had said it's like, I'm not getting this negative vibe. There are people that disagree, but it's all very much in respect for some reason. It's just a fan page, you know what I mean? And this person's getting some decent respect. So you could also use that. And my perspective would be like, you know what, you guys are right. You changed my mind. I'll give it a shot. Blah blah blah. I appreciate this community and I appreciate your guys' opinion. So you know what, I'll listen to you guys and I'll give it a shot. You could use that to like reinforce your own community.
Right.
But yeah, I digress. Moving on with Warner Brothers news. They're also green lighting a new Game of Thrones series based on George R.R. Martin's novellas, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, The Hedge Knight.
Sounds like another money grab.
Never even knew that these existed, but yeah, there's like a number of side books that he did. It's like, how can he write all this extra shit? I can see now though. It's like he was pumping out so much shit, interlinked and intertwined, and side books and this and this and this. That the second that the pressure got put on him, to where he had to like live up to deadlines, that's when his creative muse like shit on itself. Like that's the vibe that I'm getting. You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of where George R.R. Martin is in terms of his creative process. And he's not going to say that because that's like the most like embarrassing thing that you can do. That's why like I don't do, like when I was younger, like I didn't do graphic design or web development anymore for like clients, because the second that like I got forced to do it, air quote, you know what I mean? Like you get locked into this requirement to complete something to the the satisfaction of somebody else, then the creative drive to like get it done just really gets nerfed. So it's like I'm starting to kind of get where his headspace probably is, because this dude has so 100%. Much content, but he can't finish these original stories, you know what I mean? So we're gonna get that. Yeah, it's a money grab, but it's Warner Brothers, dude. This is new management. They're gonna pump it as much as they can. And on there, lastly, they announced a Rick and Morty anime, and that's coming out this year on Max.
If only Lucas was on this
I know.
week.
I mean, I think we did mention it or whatever, but he didn't say anything. I am watching season 5 of Rick and Morty finally. I could definitely tell in his voice, Justin Roiland, it's like he's not as eccentric as previous seasons. The writing is very stale in comparison. It's not as quick and witty. Delivery is kind of like eye rolly almost. It's like, yeah, I could see where he didn't have any involvement for the most part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just came in to do his lines and then dip because the writing isn't as absurd. So yeah, anime. I have no idea where this came from. Like, I'm sure there's some type of bullshit where there was like an anime commercial or some type of skit or something like that, right, where people were like, "Oh my god,
universe.
Yeah, they should do this." Blah blah blah. I'm like, okay,
where's my anime Rick?
Yeah, anime Rick. And I mean, that is gonna be a thing. Like I said, it's coming to the new Max streaming platform. So we shall see. We'll have Lucas on probably next week to discuss his excitement levels for the new Rick and Morty anime. Next one on here, stupid idiot leaks classified documents related to Ukrainian war for clout on a Minecraft Discord server of shit posters. 21-year-old Air National Guardsman had like a confusing level of access to classified information, but you know, to prove somebody wrong in this Discord server was just like, no, dude, like, you know, here's the real deets,
yeah,
or something like that.
This, it was hilarious to like see, like, dude, like you
allegedly,
like, why would you even do that?
Well, yeah, I mean, he was literally he's living a lie, bro. He's a Minecraft shit poster who just so happened to wear a suit, military dress suit, you know, and go work in a highly classified area. But when he's off, he's your just typical Discord shit poster.
Sounds about right.
Little gamer talk action going on, little inappropriate, you know, imagery, that type of shit, you know, just stupid bullshit. But yeah, I mean, they went full hog on that dude. They rolled up to him with an armored vehicle,
like, arrested by like FBI and shit.
Oh yeah, they went in there. Yeah. It was like dozens of like federal agents and like all dressed in like camo garb or camo outfits, you know, and just going in there with ARs and extracting this kid who had to have shit himself, and he was wearing shorts, so it was probably like everywhere and shit. But absolutely just dumpstered for sharing some bullshit on Discord server for fucking Minecraft, bro. Like, oh my god. Like, this is what we have to worry about. Like, these kids are now aging into positions, and like, this has been an issue for like the last like almost decade, where like they're just being brought up to a different standard. They're not being...
like we talked about it like a couple months ago, maybe even a month ago. Like, wasn't there like a Roblox server that was like a Taliban?
Oh, the Taliban,
yeah.
The
like,
Taliban server. Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? Like,
yeah, shit like that.
They're invading Roblox and Minecraft.
Contact. I mean, you know, Arma had like the whole like, you know, terrorists and
right, but like that's like, but like that's Arma.
This would be
not
Roblox.
Fucking Roblox and Minecraft.
Yeah. I mean, this is just literally, it's like 4 years ago. This dude was just getting out of high school. Probably spent his entire high school career grinding the fuck out of Minecraft as one of those Minecraft nerds. You know, got a good solid job, but just couldn't quit. He had his online community. From what I hear, he was like the big OG in the Discord chat, you know. I mean, he's been there for years, so totally see it. Just a high school kid when he gets involved with this shit and just can't let it go when he really goes into the real world. But like, my concern is just like the level of intelligence of, I don't know, would this be like Zoomers, like aging up or whatever? I'm not sure, but whatever this generation is, just not understanding the gravitas of their decision making. And like,
100%.
If other people were being like, you know, it's like kind of getting the vibe like he's like, oh, you know, my bad, I won't do it again type shit. It's like, no,
you won't
my
do
guy,
it again.
like,
your ass is gonna be in fucking jail for...
literally life. It's treason.
Yeah.
It is treason, and it's something that you're aware of if you're just a cognizant human being. You know, a functioning human being in the American society. You understand, by leaking classified documents. You're not
going to just prison. You're going to fucking federal prison.
Yeah, you're going to federal prison, bro. Like, insane. Like the level of stupidity, he just completely ruined his fucking life, and there's no way around it. You know what I mean? There is no like, I won't do it again. It's like, well, that's not how this works. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't steal money from a liquor store. Like
you stole classified data and shit that you're not supposed to have,
and definitely not supposed to release to like children. I mean, these were like 15, 16-year-old kids that he's leaking this information to, which then spread to other discords, which then got to like 4chan, which then got to the government. You know what I mean? It's like, it's the whole, that's how it works. You know what I mean? Like, you're not sharing this with a handful of people, you're putting it on the internet, and like, it's on the internet. You know what I mean? So also just a staggeringly low level of security in regards to this kid getting this information. You know, 21, I'm gonna call him a kid. Motherfucker barely old enough to drink. You know what I mean? Like, breaking very obvious laws and then acting like they're, you know, not going to get in trouble for it and shit like that. It's like the guy that got shot for doing like practical jokes and shit like that. You know what I mean? Did you hear about that?
I don't think so, but it doesn't surprise me.
Some YouTuber like went and did some stupid shit.
Oh wait, yes. He does like practical jokes like in Target and stuff. Yeah. And then I forget where he was, but yeah, his dad even told him, like, his parents were like, hey, you doing this like could potentially, like, you don't know who's out there and like what's going on. Like he would dress up as a mall cop, like as security, and tell people they needed to like leave the mall and shit, and like wouldn't let them like enter the building, and like, of course you're gonna fucking piss someone off.
Yeah, but at the same time, you could also trigger somebody who's on edge for something you have no idea.
100%. And then next thing you know, of course you're gonna get shot.
Yeah, like literally this person that you're walking up to in the aisle that you have no idea who they are. Like, you know, you have no idea what their backstory is. This dude could be like, you know, on edge with some like rival gang members or some type of drug beef, or, you know, some crazy shit where this dude is literally fearing for his life every second that he's out of his house, and you roll up to him doing some fucking wild crazy shit, and like, it's fight or flight. You know what I mean? At that point, like, you have no idea what you're walking up to. And that's the thing. It's like, they think it's a fucking game. Like, they think all this shit's a game, and it's like, oh my god, dude. Like, we simply don't have the resources to let all these people find out. You know what I mean? Like,
trying to do it for the views.
Yeah, and it's pathetic. You know what I mean?
It is.
So yeah, this guy is fucking boned. He's done. Dunskies. Good. Next one on here, Nintendo subpoenas Discord for the identity of Tears of the Kingdom art book leak. I didn't see the art. I mean, that seems kind of mundane.
I didn't see the art either, but
gives a shit. Gives a shit.
Another thing that came out though, like they said who Ganondorf is. Matt Mercer is playing Ganondorf.
Oh, in the game?
In the game. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, well, they're making a movie.
Yeah, he's doing his voice. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
if they got Matt Mercer like doing his voice, like he must have some, like, a lot of lines.
I mean, I don't understand why that would be enough to like sue somebody. Like, I get it.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think that's like why they're suing them. I mean, I think Nintendo's just going after, like, they don't want their shit out right now.
Well, they're going after the identity of the individual. They're not going after Discord to pull the shit down. So they want to know who this person is, and most likely
they're gonna go sue them or something.
Yeah, like it's that. Nintendo, so it's gonna be a punishment. Yeah. So I don't know. Nintendo needs to fucking chill out with their like litigation bullshit.
Right.
When it comes to like emulation, they're always fucking around, like, you know, this type of shit. It's like it's a fucking art.
I mean,
bro.
they're just like Disney. Yeah, like Disney.
I would argue that Nintendo is a little bit more frivolous when it comes to their lawsuit. Yeah. Disney is more of like, you know, they come in to drop their dick on the table.
Hey, they'll be like, hey, like, take your shit down or else.
Like, we're Disney, don't fuck around. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, Disney.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Nintendo, I think it doesn't matter if you plead; they'll bone you regardless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I honestly, like, Nintendo has that same kind of clout as, you know, Disney. Like they could literally be just like, hey, take that shit down or else, and like people would be, oh, okay, yeah.
Well, I mean, when it comes to most notable like icons and global icons, it's like, what are the logos? Number one is like the Disney is Mickey Mouse, and the next one is literally like Mario. You know, like
yeah,
it's not, you know. And then the next one is like Pikachu. You know what I mean?
right.
It's like they are listed in like the top 5 or top 10 most
Is
notable
it? I
icons.
thought Pokemon was like the number one,
No, I think Disney is
still
still
number
it,
one.
yeah. And then also thrown in there, you have other things like Coca-Cola
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
but I
You know what
mean,
I mean?
like, but yeah, like Nintendo is obviously in the
Buku,
top,
bro. They're
like
up there.
top
You know what I
five.
mean? They're huge, huge, huge. So
Yeah,
you know they are obviously up there and comparable, which is why I was like, it's not that surprising that this movie, the Super Mario movie, is doing gangbusters and shit. Like
like didn't it just pass like 600 million or something like that,
I
or
saw it at 500 million,
500?
but I didn't
Yeah.
see. I'm sure it's still
I mean,
going.
it just eclipsed like the largest like animation.
I mean, it had the biggest opening of an animation ever
Yeah,
to begin with, and it just never stopped. So it is like the
yeah,
most profitable um, animation film release of like all time, and that's like,
yeah,
you got other animation, Disney animation for one thing that you're considering in there.
right.
Despicable Me, like those types of movies did really well as well. So
Yeah,
pretty crazy. They have the power to take on Disney. You know what I mean? Like they
hmm,
actually do have that notoriety, and arguably a little bit more wiggle room with the characters that they have.
oh for sure.
Like they could make an entire series just on Princess Peach. Or
Right.
Bowser and like that whole crew and that type of shit. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Um,
Even hell, if we got a fucking Donkey Kong movie,
I mean, yeah, that could be fun. Donkey
hell,
Kong series,
I just want to throw this out there. Like, I was a huge like Nintendo 64 Donkey Kong,
Donkey Kong
like
Country.
Donkey Kong. No, Donkey Kong 64, like the RPG,
I thought
like
Donkey Kong
Donkey
Country
Kong.
was
No,
on 64. It wasn't?
no, well, no, that's like Game Boy and
Oh,
like
that's Super
no the
Nintendo. That's Super
yeah, Super
Nintendo. Yeah, yeah,
Nintendo.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
like
yeah,
Donkey
yeah.
Kong 64 was the actual like you played like as his family and like
Yeah,
Diddy
that's where
Kong
Diddy Kong and
and like
Dixie
yeah,
and.
Dixie and Tiny and the
But you do get a
orangutan
Diddy
kind of
Kong. You do get a Diddy Kong cameo. We were
yeah.
discussing it. Lucas was a little aggro, like they're cramming more
Yeah.
characters in. I was like, obviously you're gonna go with Waluigi and Wario. Like, obviously they're gonna
Yeah.
pop up, and then
Did
obviously
they
you're gonna
pop
have
up?
Yoshi. No, but you did have some Yoshi.
Yeah.
The
Well, of course you're gonna have Yoshi. Like that's his main
Yeah, so he's
main
obviously
deal.
going to be in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have other characters that they could branch off to. They can make an entire like kids show based on Yoshi alone.
Yeah.
And all the other Yoshis that are in that. You know what I mean? Then you got Kirby, and then you got all this other shit. It's like
Yeah.
Nintendo. Nintendo's
Nintendo has
big,
plenty of stuff. Yeah.
but they're also
But
mean.
yeah.
They're also mean when it comes to their shit. You know what I mean? The audacity to charge like $10 for a mobile app
Yeah.
for their Mario Run or whatever it was. It's like you guys just you refuse to just play ball. You know what I mean? It always has to be like,
Right.
well, I'll play, but I'm gonna have special rules. I'm gonna do it my
Exactly.
way. It's like
Right.
fuck you. But that's Nintendo. They're going after people for that art book. That's pathetic. But we had also mentioned other things recently where Twitter's being subpoenaed for information of people, and other Discord servers are being, subpoenaed, and blah blah blah. It's like Jesus Christ, dude. These companies are relentless. It's like pathetic. And then when they
Yeah.
get done doing whatever they get, nobody gave a fuck to
Nothing.
begin
Yeah.
with.
Nothing happens, and it's like, all right, cool. We're moving on with our lives.
Yeah, they're just bullying people by this point. It's like, bro, you resolving your issue did nothing for the outside world. This is all internal
Right.
bullshit that is just
Like
it's
no
your
one
own,
really gave a shit
Yeah, nobody gives a
to
shit.
begin with.
Next one on here, trailer for the Marvels drops. I'm sure you love this shit. That's probably like number one Marvel film of all time, right?
I mean, it was all right.
Actually,
Uh,
like dog shit. I mean, I look better than
it's
Captain Marvel.
yeah. Yeah, we'll see how this is. Like I wasn't like too hyped on it. I mean, obviously it's taking place like directly like right after Miss
Miss
Marvel.
Marvel. I didn't finish that series. Watched the first couple episodes and I was like, "This is cringe, bro." This
No,
made my insides
basically
hurt.
like you see like as in the trailer as they're like entangled with their
Mhm.
powers or whatever, like the very ending is Captain Marvel like trading places with Miss Marvel.
Yeah, and
so
they do have that thing where it's like they're all cycling locations. You
correct.
know, it's like when she
As they
uses
use their
her power.
powers,
Yeah. So I mean, there's a story there.
yeah.
You know, the
So
Marvels, that whole story seems stitched together because I mean,
yeah, I don't know what the premise of the movie is going to be about, unless it's going to be more of whether it's scrolls or like more scroll stuff, or is it gonna go into like timeline stuff or
like there's
whatnot.
got to be some type of connection from like
right,
maybe the power or where they get their power
right,
from,
because
or how they're
obviously like
combined.
Kamala gets her like the bangles she wears, I want to say, are from the quantum realm.
Yeah,
Just
they
just like the Ten
suspected
Rings
that,
are.
but that was never mentioned when it came from when they actually in Quantumania in the
Yeah.
film. They never
Right.
during the first three phases, you know, of Marvel, you had a very clear indication of like where you were going with everything, what you would end up at. This all kind of seems like stitched together. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel like the season or the series of phases are going to end with a Galactus fight. You know what I mean?
Right.
I
feel
even with
like
King, it doesn't feel like there's going to be like. It feels like they're chopping up that final movie and giving you bits
yeah.
of it already, and it's like, it doesn't
I
feel
feel
right.
like they're trying to like intertwine the shows and movies way too much.
Yeah, and I know that they're revamping a little bit. Iger came in there and was like, "Bro, the second I left, you started fucking around."
Yeah.
Like, I bet you that's
Exactly.
the vibe. He walked up to Fahey like really? Like, was it really
Right.
me that was making sure that you could do this shit? Fahey did get a little loose after Iger left, so maybe there was a different level of pressure involved, you know, with all that. I don't know, but you know, there has been some stated revamping going on with how they're handling all that. They're gonna, you know, get back to movies and this and this. They're talking about that too with Star Wars, how they're gonna get back to the crawl, you know, and actually get the movies out. And one thing I didn't mention was that I thought I didn't hear it the week before, but I guess the Rey movie is gonna be like a series of movies.
Yeah,
It's
it's
gonna
gonna
be
be
like
like
its own
three,
trilogy.
but it's all yeah, I think it's gonna be 10, 15 years after
15, yeah.
15 after like the last episode 9.
So I mean, is it gonna be the next episode, and is it gonna be her again, and all this shit?
Or
Like, what are we doing here, dude? You know what I
right.
mean? Like,
But it's like apparently her trying to start the new Jedi
yeah.
Academy.
And I had mentioned that in the previous show, where it's like they're not gonna be able to fit that into a 2-3 hour max movie. And remember we talked about that, and it's
Yeah.
like, yeah. So I mean, we'll see. I don't want it to be episode 10, 11, 12, and yada yada.
Right.
I don't want it to be
It needs
that.
to just be its own offshoot.
Yeah, the like legacy
Yeah.
Ray Skywalker
Exactly.
or whatever. Just be its own trilogy.
Shouldn't
I
even be
don't know.
Skywalker, goddamn it.
Yeah,
Palpatine.
I'm just gonna call myself whatever I want. But yeah, we digress when it comes to the Marvels. It was just watching some of the shit in like slow motion, and it's like, damn, that CGI looks kind of ass. It's like, we'll see. The story, the chemistry and the characters look a little bit better than you'd expect. Brie Larson still looking out of place as usual. Just looking like she just has the wrong idea of what the vibe should be, but looking a little more playful in this movie. So I mean, maybe a little bit more of a watch. But I truly hated Captain Marvel just for the sake of the retconning and the unnecessary
Yeah.
shoehorning and the Mary Sue aspect in terms of like in game and all that shit that followed. Meh. I kind of turned off to it, but I'll give it a shot once it hits Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Next one on here, probably about to pop off on this one, but Studio Wildcard, the developers of Ark Survival Evolved, removing. So basically, I'll explain it. So what they had was, so you have Ark Survival Evolved, and then you have Ark 2, which got announced, right? That's the one with Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel's gonna play a role in it for some reason. No idea why. But after they announced Ark 2, they announced that they're making Ark Survival Ascended, which is just a remastered version in the Unreal Engine 5 of the original game. They were going to include this upgrade as well as Ark 2 in a bundle that you could purchase for $59.99, which is I mean, I believe the game was $40. I think when I bought it, it was like $30. It was $30 for years, and then when it went out of early access, it went up to like $50 or $60, something like that. Not worth it. This is the vibe, right? This is how this went down. People are like, they're like, okay, so yeah, we're releasing the remastered version, and it's going to be included in the Arc 2 bundle that you can get if you pay $60. People are like, that's kind of fucked up that I have to pay for the same game again after like 6 years.
Yeah, shit I already own.
Yeah, it's like, why not just release like an update or whatever, some high resolution update, or just charge me $10 difference or what have you.
Right.
Nope, you're just gonna get the bundle. And people are like, well, that sucks. Like, oh, okay, you guys don't like that, so we're gonna split it up. Arc 2, we don't know when it's gonna come out yet, so we'll go ahead and put that on the back burner. But the Arc Survival Ascended, we're just gonna make that $60. And people are like, wait, what? Like, you what? Like, do what now? Like, yeah. So if you wanna actually play the new game, then you're gonna have to pay full boat, no matter how many hours you have dumped into this game. Oh yeah, and by the way, we're shutting down the official servers for Ark Survival Evolved while we're at it. You can still have servers on Ark Survival Evolved as long as you purchase them and host them yourselves, or their personal servers that you own. But no more official Ark servers will be listed for that original game. Only for the Ark Survival Ascended version that you have to pay $60 for. They do have something where you can like export your save data and transport it over to yada 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 whatever. But
for a measly fee of
basically, yeah, some bitch shit.
Yeah,
truly bitch shit. And then when you come to like actual hosting for these servers, they're not that cheap. I'm not sure if you've ever done any server shit. I've worked with Arc numerous times making servers, but I'm not looking at current pricing, but typically it would be like close to $100 for like 6 months of like hosting, or 3 months of hosting, something like that.
Yeah, no, I really have no experience with server hosting or like joining like a server like that. Yeah. But fuck, $100.
Now that would be for like bare basic shit, where it's like. Right. You would have a slight upgrade on like your RAM, Right. You might have a better CPU usage, being used for that on your servers specifically. Right. Also removing the host tags from the server hosting so that people aren't blasted with ads for the hosting that you're actually paying for. And then it might support 10 players. And that's it. So it's like, then it's going to get more once you start adding players, which then makes it, requirement for you to buff up your RAM. And then you're definitely going to need the CPU, the improved CPU. And then all of a sudden you're paying $180, $300 for 6 months of hosting. And are you really? You're not making any money from it,
Unless you're charging people,
which is illegal, by most terms of service. And people won't go for it anyway, just because that's not the norm.
Yeah.
And then you got people that they start servers, they have nobody else to play with. They really like this game, they really like making the server, and then it's the legwork of getting people to join. When I did GTA servers, like months of just trying to get people to join the server. And while they're there, hook them and keep them there, and then eventually you might get up to like 11 of those people come by daily and populate your server. And you're looking at, okay, well, the end of our first hosting, period is finishing. So now we're going to have to pay another $300. Right. And we don't have enough people to put up a donations thing on our own personal website and yada, yada, yada. Then the servers get shut down because it's just not worthwhile. The time, the effort, the extreme effort that kicks in after you actually get all the work done is like, I can't even play, because people are having so many fucking issues that I'm flying around in admin mode and I'm helping people and I'm having to hop out of the server to do resets or reinstall mods and then this and this and this. And it's nauseating. So, that's just kind of how it goes with the Ark Survival. The same thing. It's not quoted the pricing, but it's pretty ridiculous. But, like I said, I can ramble on about this whole shit forever. Ark, it was a good idea in a time where Rust was like also novel, You know, it was a novel idea. This whole build and survive type gameplay was brand new for the most part. So it was a cool idea, but like I had mentioned before, clunky shit. And these dinos don't cooperate with the environment that the game like puts forth. And like, yeah, it might look okay, but the game runs like dog shit. Things take forever to load. Assets don't load properly. Like, things are broken. Like, dinos, they'll like, just quality of life shit is atrocious. And instead of focusing on making that better, they got the game to a point where it's like, okay, this is serviceable. That's fine. Now just get content in so we could charge for it. So that's what they did. And then they released Atlas because like Wildcard broke off and they went and go do their own thing. And Atlas was the same exact game, but instead of dinosaurs, it was like pirate ships. And you would travel to different blocks and it'd be lions and tigers and bears, oh my, and shit that you're fighting out there to gain resources, fat for fuel and like meat for food and yada yada yada, building your ship and cutting down trees and yada yada. But the game played exactly the same and all of the same bugs were there. So it's like they're just fucking lazy. Like, they're an incredible, I mean, this is getting a little dodgy, but in my opinion, a pretty fucking lazy and greedy developer by this point. So I'm pretty against it. I'm sure the chick will, I mean, she has, like I said, 3,100 hours or 3,099 hours in the game. So I'm sure she'll buy another one. You know what I mean? I'm positive she will. Sure. So, and by association, I will also play it as well. You know what I mean? So we will see, but just deplorable shit coming from Wildcard. Fuck all that. A couple on here left. Netflix announces Stranger Things animated series, said to be like a Saturday morning cartoon.
See where this goes. Like, I'm interested, but I'm just into the actual show.
I mean, I'm getting pretty stoked for the idea. It's like, a house where it's like, maybe it's like could have like a little Saturday, like a kid now, you know what I mean? We'll have kids where it's like Saturday morning cartoons might make a resurgence, you know what I mean? It might be up to a responsibility of daddy to put together some like, a nice little playlist of cartoons for Saturday morning. Not sure if this would be a story that I would want them to be like, associated with it.
100%.
Almost kind of like the Beetlejuice cartoon when we were kids and shit, where it's like... Yeah.
But I feel like they would also have like a little more freedom with a cartoon.
Yeah, it could be slapsticky and stupid and stuff, and they can get away with it. You know what I mean? The show's coming to an end, inevitably. I think this is like the last season coming up, right? So, you gotta make that bag. You gotta find a way to pump that well. You know what I'm saying?
The kids are almost...
I mean,
close to their 20s now. Like a Teen Titans Go kind of like cartoon style.
Yeah. And it'd probably work too, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like they're in pop culture enough now where it's like, yeah, you can get away with it. Next one on here, in a baffling move by Sony, they will be removing Marvel's Spider-Man from PlayStation Plus in May as a content refresh.
Oh boy.
I mean, you really can't boil down Sony exclusive any more than Marvel's Spider-Man.
Right.
I mean, it would be like, okay, we're removing that, like the DualShock 5 little app where you can like control the guy and test all the features on the controller and shit.
Right.
Like, okay, we're removing that as part of the content refresh. Like, we don't want you guys getting comfortable with this list of games. It's like, this is the type of shit where it's like, it reminds me of like, Target. I worked at Target in like the early 2000s, and I forget what it was called, but the Plano team would come in once every like 3 or 4 months, and they would do a reset of aisles. So they would take an aisle and they would move it 2 aisles down, and they would swap it. They would take an entire section of the store, much how like your Easter section pops up during Easter and yada yada, those rows and stuff. Right. Plano comes in and they do that in their night shift and they set it all up and shit. But it feels to me like they're moving it so that because the reason was keep the customer confused so that they have to keep looking, and while they're looking for what they're used to looking for, they will run across other things to purchase. Much like the recommended tab and like Amazon, the evil son of a bitch. It's the same shit, you know what I mean? It's like the candy aisle when you're in the store and you're like having to walk. It's like Fry's Electronics, fucking evil
you've searched
super
this
villain shit.
4 times.
Like
Please
Fry's
look
is
at,
like
yeah.
you got to walk down like this 100-foot like aisle where you're blocked in by walls of like
Yep.
fatty treats. It's like chocolate and candy everywhere. You can't even see over the motherfuckers. And you're just like, I just want to pay for my Ethernet cable. I just want to pay for my Ethernet cable. I don't want to spend $56.42 on chocolate and shit.
Yeah.
You know, which is what you do. So I'm getting like that feeling where it's like Spider-Man is just being removed, being like, yeah, but it gives us something to do, you know, if we run out of material, be like, oh, Spider-Man's coming back. So people, you know, subscribe, get your PS Plus and yada yada.
Right.
And this is funny too, because when I got the PS5, I was like, I got Miles Morales, and Lucas was like, oh, it's on PS Plus. It's like, yeah, fuck that. Yeah, okay, for how long? And this is it. It can get no more, you know, focused and centralized around a Sony exclusive than Spider-Man, and that shit is being removed like nothing. So, you know, fuck all that PS Plus bullshit. See what's going on with that. How do you feel about that? What's your feeling on Sony? I mean, taking it's like Netflix removing Stranger Things for a period of time just for content refresh.
It's one of their biggest games, like that and God of War. Like what? Like why would you even remove like a stable game like for your console? Like for no reason.
It's just like deleting Gran Turismo or something.
It doesn't make sense to me, like why they would do it, unless they, you know, have something coming down the pipeline that they have not told anyone.
I mean, they got part 2 coming out. I mean, I'm sure.
Yeah, but again, like they're not going to instantly put that on PS Plus.
No, but if they don't have Spider-Man, it was much like I looked at HBO Max and Harry Potter's right back. I don't know why, but they took it down, a week or two just before Hogwarts Legacy came out.
Right.
And it was gone for a month, and then they brought it back. Like, they are pathetic tactics by these companies to try to just eke out a little bit of extra purchases. Because
obviously it'll go back into the store, so you can I'm sure it'll be like discounted just to squeak out like more money.
And then 2 weeks before Spider-Man 2 releases, here it comes back to PS Plus, so that you can get your fix and get prepped, but also purchase PS Plus. Scummy shit that these fucking execs come up with, you know.
Squeak out as much money out of their, you know, player base and fan base.
I just wish that's how people saw it and understood it and were offended by it. You know what I mean? It's like whenever they take something that you love and they twist it and contort it and use it to benefit them at your expense.
But watch it, like they're gonna take it off, and then it's gonna be a heavily discounted game on the, you know, the PlayStation Store, and then everyone's gonna be like, oh, look how it's discounted now. It's like, bitch, that was free for how many months?
It was included. Like, if anything, that was like a seller, you know? It's like you would assume that would be included in PS Plus, but
exactly
not anymore.
No.
Last one on here. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is delayed yet again.
We fucking called that one.
This time until February 2nd, 2024.
I mean, you like nailed that shit right on the head.
I forget what we said. I think it was something akin to like, you know, like, oh, they delayed it just before the end of the year. Just you know, just so happens to be right there, nice and close to 2024 for them to just push it right off into 2024. So they did do that. It might have been something else that we're referring to because so many things are delayed these days, but I'm pretty sure it was like Suicide Squad, where it was just like, of course they're going to delay it, dude, because that's what they do. Rumors are that they're removing the always online feature that was required. A lot of things about what bled out in that beta test was pretty upsetting for people.
The game shouldn't be always online. Like, you should just be able to just play the missions like by owning the game. Like, you shouldn't have to be online to access a mission or
save data locally and then update it whenever it gets a
Yeah.
connection. You know, then you got your backup cloud data, and then in the
Right.
meantime you can save locally.
I mean, that's how like, I mean, look at like sports games. You can literally just play the sports games with the regular rosters you have that initially come with the game,
Mm-hmm.
and then they live update if you have an online connection and if you want to update them.
You know, the Suicide Squad, it just seems like a fucking shit show. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't seem like anything is, it just seems like they're so lost. They have no idea what they're doing. And it's like, you know, aren't these the people that made the Arkham series and shit? Like,
Yeah. Like
come on, man.
you'd think that they would
prestige,
have,
bro.
yeah, yeah. Like
we trust you, dog. What is this? And you're scaring us. So yeah, we'll see. Probably not going to get that, to be frank. I mean, I'm over the whole my childhood hero characters being evil shit. You know, it's like I'm just done with that premise. I don't know. All I know is that we called it. You know, we're professionals here at the Nerd Chatter Podcast and shit. We called that shit. But yeah, that is actually it for the roundup. I'm sure there's some other stories and stuff, but I'm just going to keep it there. As always, free games that I like to gather up throughout the week. There was another one too that I didn't have on here. I think it was like a Peaky Blinders game on Steam that got taken off of the store for a while. I don't have any details on it, but if you type in Peaky Blinders, there might be a game on there for free right now. I think it was like a murder mystery type of like top-down game. But on here, for what I have on my list, free on Epic Game Store until 4/20, baby, Mordhau. Mordhau is a first and third person medieval PvP game, very much like Chivalry. It's like its competitor. These games are awesome. I love them. This is one where it's like, it's free, bro. You got to get on it. I love it. Super entertaining. Chopping people in half and chopping their heads off and their limbs and shit with big ass battle axes and
the one time I did watch you while you were streaming, it was rather hilarious.
Oh, it's pretty funny. Like, I'll get on Chivalry. I'm actually pretty disappointed in myself because I was all fucked up pretty much all winter, but I didn't get the opportunity to take advantage of their winter update on that. So being able to like fight in snow and shit would have been dope, but I never got around to it because I was either sick or traveling, or sick and traveling. But Mordhau is free. It's a really solid game. I played that before I got to Chivalry, so I can attest for that. Go get that until 4/20. Next one is Second Extinction. It's an online co-op first-person dinosaur shooter. I'm not sure if it's wave based, but it is a co-op. You know what I mean? Where it's PvE. I'm not going to say PvE, but it's PvE. And it is strictly like dinosaurs and stuff. So I think it's class based, where you got your like heavy and your sniper and that type of stuff. So it is in early access, but that is also free on Epic Game Store until 4/20. So go ahead and check that out. A couple solid games. Those are two solid games. They're not your bullshit like puzzle or chess games like last week or whatever. So that is it for today's show. A little bit shorter. This is a good time, actually. I like this amount of time. Might actually start boiling them down to a handful of the roundup and give us more time to bullshit and chit chat about them, and then just kind of divert people to our Instagram. But like always, you can find us at Nerd Chatter Show on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. You can find the Nerd Chatter Podcast anywhere you can find podcasts, including Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Audible, Spotify, and pretty much anywhere else you can find podcasts. Make sure to hit us with a follow and subscribe. Be much obliged. All of our episodes are uploaded onto YouTube, where we do weekly live streams playing various games and drinking and shit. We're going to be playing some PGA Tour tonight. Already got the brewskis chilling on ice.
Nice.
If you could support us, head on over and chill and chat, bullshit, have some drinks, talk about the game, and rage out a little bit. Kenny, did you get it yet? No.
I'll probably get it today, actually.
Fucking liar. You're lying to me.
We'll see about that. The champ will return.
the champ has to earn his title back. I'll tell you that. I would say, if you like to support the channel, head on over to our Discord. I was kind of freaked out. The bot wasn't working. They did get shut down, but I got that all figured out. I got it all tweaked and re-logged in and all that good shit. So head on over to our Discord. We got the retweet bots of the free games, as well as the stories that we retweet all throughout the week. And then also been really amping up our Instagram game. So we take the most important stories of the day, and we post them on there. So make sure you go and give us a follow over there. Kenny, thank you for being here, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
We'll see what's up with that whole PGA Tour. If you want to stream, we'll be doing that.
All right. Yeah.
I'll make sure to do a little bit earlier so that you can actually have time to stream.
Sounds good.
But yeah, that is it. You guys take it easy. I'm out late.
Later.